All civil servants are expected to return to work on Tuesday, the 5th of May, after government declared a state of emergency, which forced many employees to work from home. Now, joining us via Skype is Ivan Nashandi, the Executive Director in the Office of the Prime Minister. Good evening, Mr. Nashandi, and thank you so much for making the time to join us.
Good evening and good evening, viewers.
Well, all civil servants are expected to be at the office on Tuesday. Now, have the workplaces, especially those of government offices, including schools, been disinfected, and will they also be ready for use come Tuesday?
Thank you. As you are aware, stage 1 of the state of emergency is ending at 23:59 on the 4th of May 2020, which is paving way for coming into effect of stage 2. During stage 2, staff members of government are expected to return to their workplaces starting on the 5th of May 2020. We have made specific arrangements that staff members with specific vulnerabilities must identify themselves with their supervisors so that arrangements are made for them to continue to work from their homes. During this stage, and also with all other subsequent stages, as has also been mentioned during stage 1, the maintenance of hygiene remains a top priority in our fight to curb the spread of COVID-19. So therefore, workplaces will be cleaned, they are cleaned, and they will also continue to be cleaned as a matter of safety. As government, appropriate cleaning equipment and solutions are acquired and would be used depending on the nature of the dead. We have specific health and hygiene guidelines that are applicable to the whole country, and they will also be made applicable to government.
Now, taking into consideration that the national lockdown only lifts tomorrow midnight, as you mentioned, and of course then some of these employees themselves have, of course, then also been working or actually found themselves in different regions. Have any specific special transport arrangements in terms of permits and so forth been made for those traveling from other regions in order for them to ensure that they are actually at work come Tuesday?
Well, as a matter of fact, staff members, when we have sent them to work from home during stage 1, we have made a specific caution that they must work from their homes within their duty station, meaning that they would not have traveled outside their duty station so that it could make the return easier. The only exception is for the teaching staff who were on holiday at the commencement of the lockdown period. So for those that are requiring travel, the travel restrictions have been lifted and transport arrangement can now be made. And meaning that there will be no specific the permits required. The only thing that they need to make sure is that those arrangements are made, paying specific attention to social distancing, hygiene, and all other health protocols that need to be complied with.
Now, briefly, just to touch on one other specific topic, there have been a couple of complaints from the Khomas region regarding the distribution of food, with some accusing the Office of the Prime Minister of delaying this specific process. Could you kindly just clarify the so-called delay in that distribution of food, sir?
The food relief assistance during the time of COVID is a relief program that government introduced mainly for those that were negatively impacted by the state of emergency measures. And therefore, it excluded those that are benefiting from other special programs of government, such as grants and also food bank, and also that have recently benefited from the income grant, emergency income grant. So we also have witnessed that there have been a number of corporate entities that have made direct donation to constituency. So we are calling on all the people that are receiving these donations to be mindful of the next person so that they make it possible for the next person to benefit. The Office of the Prime Minister has really acknowledged that there is a need for enhanced coordination so that we avoid delays. The government programs will now be distributed through the regional councils, where the identification of the people will have to be done. So we are appealing to the leaders of the constituency to please identify those beneficiaries who are meeting the set criteria and submit those names to the regional councils so that the government can make appropriate responses.
Now, Mr. Nshandi, some of the office buildings, this is now in reference to the civil servants who need to be back at work on Tuesday. Some of these buildings have quite a number of people that are working in one specific area. Now, earlier you made reference to the fact that provision has been made for those with special arrangements that will be able to work from home and so forth. But has a specific number in terms of percentage, either looking at 50% of the workforce, been decided upon by government to ensure that social distancing measures are also adhered to?
Government has to ensure the safety of all employees. And therefore, we have also decided that sitting and working arrangement have to be adjusted so that it complies with the new protocols that we have introduced. Where there are more people in one office, the spacing has to be maintained, and where there are more, some arrangement for office accommodation have to be found within the existing premises. We are also requiring office meetings to be minimized, and also to the extent possible that we hold large meetings through the use of IT. On arrival at offices, we expect that staff members will have to be provided with face masks, and those face masks will be provided at the cost of government, and also appropriate hand sanitizers will also be provided. We shall also strive to ensure that the thermal devices are also provided so that we are able to check the employees and also the visitors for their temperatures on entering the premises.
Well, Mr. Nshandi, thank you so much once again for making the time to join us this evening.
My pleasure, and thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. Well, there you have it. That was Mr. Iben Nshandi, the Executive Director in the Office of the Prime Minister, just briefly touching on some of the regulations and measures that have been put in place with regards to civil servants returning to work on Tuesday.